All right, folks, what's happening? What's happening? Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021. And man, we're going to throw a curveball at you this morning. I decided yesterday that I was going to, do something different this morning. I wanted to bring some of the supporters of the show, some of my friends. Shoot, I even got my business partner. I can't even believe he figured out how to do this morning. He's back there in the green room. And we're just going to talk a little bit this morning about, social media, podcast, the platform, how these things really impact us in today's world. And I wanted to close out 2021. This will be the final show of 2021 because, quite frankly, I need a break. I need some rest. I need to refocus and come back rested for 2022. But, man, it's been an incredible year. And so I wanted to be able to just share some of everybody's highlights for this year, share some of mine, and share some of the people that make this show special and make it important and really just support it. And so a lot of these people, man, have supported it since way back in episode 1 in some cases, right? So that's what we're going to do this morning, guys. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out that line up. All right. Well, look at this, man. We got a full house this morning. This is a motley crew if I've ever seen one, man. Holy smokes. What's happening, guys? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
morning,
Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Man, so this crew, I sent out some messages this morning. I posted on social media, and I just figured, man, whoever shows up, let's roll, man, and let's bounce it around and talk about 2021, some of the successes, some of the challenges, whatever you guys want to talk about this morning. But I do want to focus it in on, and I think it's important for us to realize, platforms like this, in a lot of cases, this platform is how I've met, some of the closest people in my life at this point. There's a couple people, Ryan can tell you from, the Top Contractor School Inner Circle that have ended up in the closest group that we have of contractors. And they started watching this show, which is crazy because this show is not about construction, but it's a testament to what happens when you create a space for like-minded and like-hearted people to get together. And when I look at this screen, man, one of the coolest things about it is that literally I know every single person on this screen, and I definitely know their hearts, and I know their minds, and I know that everybody on here has a similar heart and a similar mind, and that's what makes it special, right? It's what makes it incredible to be able to do something like this, to be able to put a show like this together that allows people to come together. And, when I started this show way back when, I had no idea what it would turn into, but I did know that if we could change the way that people wake up in the morning and get started, that a lot of things in people's lives would change. And I know that social media plays a huge role in that. It certainly has for me. I shared this a lot throughout this week, just how much impact it's had. It was an incredible reminder of me to have a couple of people in town. When I get in person with people, I've met everybody on this screen except for Matt in person so far. And when you get in person with people, man, that whole thing changes, right? And it really shrinks the world. I was laughing yesterday because Daniel Good was on our Top Contractor School Inner Circle call, right? And he said, this person lives right up the road in Pennsylvania, and this one lives right down the road in Virginia. And this one, I'm like, dude, you're talking about 12 hours each direction, but that's proof, right, of how small the world gets when we have platforms like this. And so I just want to start by thanking all of you guys for being here this morning, for sharing this space with me, and for showing up every single morning, right? And for those people, if you guys are watching and you're trying to get in, we could fit 10 people in the studio at a time. And so as people talk here, we're going to cycle them out, and you guys will be able to jump on the screen, and it'll be fun to just bounce this around. And since this is completely unscripted, it's only appropriate that Preston breaks into my office here in the middle of everything and makes this even more interesting this morning. So I want to throw it over to Ed. I'm going to start this off with the person that's the most uncomfortable being here, but my business partner. And really, I think of anybody that understands the impact of social media and what it can do for us. Ed has had a front row seat to seeing that prior to us having a social media presence, both me personally and as a company. And, just kind of what it does for us and what it's done for him and his life and our business.
Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. And yeah, I in the beginning, Brian had come to us. We got to get social. We got to be on social. Everybody's got to be on social, making videos. And, it's not for everybody. But, we bought into it early. And it just kind of every year it's kind of just stacked on top of the year before, the leverage and where our company has gone and the relationships. The top contractor school that most people know about. We have great relationships with our contractors, and not just on a business level. Like, everybody really cares when we're trying to be different, and when we tell people that we're trying to be different, not everybody buys in right away, and then lo and behold, something will happen in somebody's life, whether business or personal, and we do exactly what we say we're going to do. And as far as morning perspective, I can't tell you how many times I've woken up or gone to sleep in a not so great mood, and just get on, and I don't know if it's got to be divine intervention, because the topic will be exactly what I'm going through, and I'm sure that happens to many of us on this screen, and those that aren't on, that are just listening, that it just hits home for some reason, and it's not always negative. I mean, it just, that something that's going on is positive, and it makes the day start right. It resets everything, and I'm not the only one. And that's been huge, and thank you, Brian, for doing this, and for being a part of my life and my family's life, and for changing the direction of our path.
Love you, man. Thanks for sharing, bro.
You got it,
You
bro.
say hi, Ed.
I did.
Am I fired?
No, that's the other one. Quincy's the one that fires everybody.
All right, hey, Brian, I'll drop off so somebody else can jump in.
You got it, brother. You got it. Thanks for being here.
Merry Christmas, guys.
All right, let's throw it over to Ryan Austin.
Oh, the long-winded guy, right? Well, you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit about Brian, because you know what social media does for you. We were talking about yesterday in our inner circle, call. Is Brian reached out to me October 24th of 2019. Okay, that was the first impression that Brian had on me, and it got me interested in actually starting to research what he was doing. He actually reached out for a gold digger retreat, and he's like, "You should be a part of this." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to follow this guy." And we became really close, and we became closer. And now I consider Brian one of my, pretty much the big brother I never had. But what I first want to talk about is every single person on the screen, besides Scott and Justin that just joined, I have a very good relationship with. I mean, Steve and I just partnered up for Michigan for the plastics, and we're going to go into detail. Matt has been a really dear friend of mine. He's actually from Oxford too. And Bruce and Bill have been a very inspirational part in my life the last several months. And I just want you guys to realize the power of social media, because it's not just getting on social media and posting things. It's about developing relationships. And when you develop relationships, your life changes. And it changes usually for the good, because what you do is you find yourself being a part of a circle that are like-minded people like yourself. And everybody always says this term, success leaves clues. And when you hang out with successful people, and in turn, and you try to push them to be successful, and you're their number one cheerleader, and you want them to succeed, God rewards you. And I truly believe that. And that's faith. Because if you pour into others and you help others succeed, and you're their cheerleader, when things are happening in your life, it seems to happen really good, because things just start to flow. It's one of those things that I always talk about the roller coaster. I'm building this roller coaster, and this roller coaster is going to be the biggest roller coaster in the world. And I want people to join me and be a part of this. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to have maintenance on this roller coaster. It doesn't mean we're going to have bumps. We're going to have ups and downs. But I'll tell you right now, when we're climbing this roller coaster, I want everybody with me. I want everybody on this journey. I want everybody on what I want to do for this mission is to help people, help one individual every single day. That is my mission. And so that's what social media brought to me. So I wanted to share that, and I'm going to cut it short because I could talk forever, but I just want to let everybody know on this call, I appreciate them. And they've had a huge impact on me, and especially Brian, because I want to tell you, Brian has been my number one cheerleader since day one. And he represents everything that he portrays. He is the true cheerleader in every single person's life. And I really, truly respect you for that, Brian. So thank you very much. I'm gonna say goodbye and let somebody else come up here. But I truly appreciate every single one of you guys. So have a blessed day, and I love you guys.
Thank you, brother. Love you too, man. And super proud of you for everything you're doing, man. All right. Well, it's a lot better with 9 on the screen. Let's keep it with 9 here. We're going to go now to one of my, just biggest supporters, man. If there is somebody in this world that is my cheerleader, it is definitely Carla Goldammer. And so I want to hear, what this platform, what's starting off the morning with us has done, and then how social media has impacted you.
Good morning, everybody. Wow. Brian introduced me to my business on social media and me personally doing lives. My first one was with Brian a little over a year ago when he came to my office and we sat down to do his show. This show means the world to me. It gives me new perspectives, just as it's named. It starts my day off well. Sometimes we get in the groove of things and rolling, and we get a little tunnel vision. And Brian always seems to slow me down a little bit and open my eyes, which I'm very appreciative of. When I started my business platform on social media, we didn't have any followers. But with Brett Sutherland and Lead Revenue, we got out there and started posting. And now I have Frank Latta that's helping me do my social media platform for D&J. And between him and Lead Revenue and myself and my men that post videos and tag us, it's been exciting. And it's exciting when we go out someplace and somebody will say, hey, I saw your video, or, oh my gosh, your presence on social media is just great. Keep up the good work. So that's how social media and Brian has helped me grow personally and professionally. And I'm going to keep it short too, because I'm still not really comfortable doing all this. So
let me just tell you guys this. It doesn't have to be perfect, which Carla and I have talked about a million times. People love imperfection. For example, nobody can see this, but I just had to recruit my wife via text message to come get this little rascal out of my office because he's like coming in here, banging up stuff in the refrigerator. It is what it is, guys. That is life, right? And it's relatable. And so it's funny because the first time Carla did a formal interview, it was on the news, right? It was on the local television. And she sent it to me and she's like, I don't know how I did. And I'm like, dude, this was amazing, right? Like, you did an incredible job. So Carla is a testament to what happens when you step out of your comfort zone and step into something that will help yourself, your business, your family in every way. And it also, just never forget this, guys, it gives other people courage to do the same, right? And so from me to you, thank you for being my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. And she's been here. I don't even know what episode you started on, but it's been a long, long, long time. And I love you. Merry Christmas. And thank you for everything that you do for me and my family and everything you bring to my life.
I love you too. Love your family. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.
Talk to you soon. All right. We're going to cycle in another guy here. But let's go to Scott Rhodes, man. Scott Rhodes has I don't even know. I was asking this morning what year we met. It was early 2000. So I don't even know. I was like in high school then, I think. So I'll let Scott share, some of the impact. Scott started following the show here recently, probably in the last year or so, right? And just share, some of your highlights from 2021, maybe why you started watching the show. That would be interesting to hear. And just kind of what makes you want to watch it every morning.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I mean, Ed said it well. He goes to bed at night and then he wakes up in the morning and soaks in the perspective, and it gives him a whole new outlook on the day. And for me, it's been about you voiced the word earlier. Courage. For me, there's been a lot of things happening in my life, and being able to jump on this very first thing in the morning, it's like daily scripture, and gives me courage to do things that I just never felt confident or ever thought I could accomplish. This year has been a whirlwind for me. Earlier in the year, my wife had the opportunity to take a promotion with her job. She works for Hilti. She works in the construction industry, and which is really, really interesting on what she does. But the big challenge was we had to pick up and move from Ohio to Las Vegas, Nevada. And at the time, we have our house that, there's still some things in it that we need to remodel and finish. I had purchased property and was probably 3/4 of the way of building, an off the grid cabin on. So we had to finish those two things in a short period of time. And I couldn't have done it without like the daily motivation that I got in here. And then not only just taking care of those two things, but then to pack up our lives and move it completely west was a whole nother ordeal. And I'm glad you're taking time off. This is probably my last day for the year because I'm tired. We didn't know anybody out here.
Yeah, you guys need a break too, man, from me.
But no, I mean it's great. It's given me the courage to do things. And I met Brian in the corporate world, and gosh, it's so amazing to see what you've accomplished. The corporate world, in my opinion, puts a ceiling on you at times. And knowing who you are and just learning more about, all of you, you remove that ceiling and you've gone up in the sky. You're like, you're dreaming big and the sky's the limit. And I still work in the corporate world, but I'm actually next year planning to transition away from the corporate world. I've already started the process of starting my own business, going through in January, getting certified in certification. And I could never think that's possible without something like this, giving me that daily motivation to do it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. And it's great because obviously I know I can't do this myself, but I know I've got a group of resources and future relationships that I can establish that may be able to give me guidance and provide me some direction in the future.
Love it, man. And that's you hit a soft spot for me, man, because the reason that I started Top Contractors School, the reason that we have partners in the pavement group and don't do it solo, like, man, this life isn't meant to do alone, dude. And you should never feel like you have to, right? No matter what. And listen, man, one of my favorite quotes that my buddy Quentin Lovejoy says all the time. He says, busy people understand busy people, right? So like, regardless whether somebody gets back to you in 5 minutes or a day or 2 days, man, know there are people that will come help, right? And like when they show up, especially the busy people, what I've learned, man, when they show up, they're showing up, right? And so, that's the importance of community is to, surround us with those people, right? And to continue reaching higher and higher and higher and continuing to network with different people and new people and just leveraging these communities. I talked about it yesterday on Morning Perspective, but the power of, utilizing, look at all the people in the comments here, man. Like, and then connect with them. Who is Matt Johnson? Figure it out, man. You guys would hit it off. I already know that, right? You and Daniel Good would get along great. Daniel's right down in Maryland, right? So he knows the territory. All of these people, it's cool to be to be able to know everybody and to kind of see how everybody would interact together and be able to watch those connections happen and those friendships develop is absolutely just incredible, man. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for all the kind words and thanks for the support. It means the world to me to see you on there every morning, man. It lights me up. It really does to see somebody from way back, kind of reconnecting and leveraging this platform in a way that's helping them. And that's why I started it. Right. And so it gives me energy to see somebody like yourself showing up every morning. And when I see you in the comments, man, it does a lot. So thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. Hey, thank you, everybody. And happy holidays.
Same to you, brother. Merry Christmas, man. Love you, bro. All right. Look at this. We got Brad Modrich up on the treadmill, man. He's got the Legion of Boom in the background. Let's throw it over to Bruce Pulver, man. Good morning to you, brother. You've been, man, such an inspiration in my life, man. And I always say, if there's one thing that I want to be in the world, it's a steady hand to others, and to be that person that really is able to kind of stabilize unstable situations for people. When they're in trouble, I want me to be the call that they make. And that's exactly how I think about you, man. Like the steady hand, it's always there, always steady, always in a great mood, always providing inspiration. And I don't know what episode you joined on either, bro, but it's been a long, long time. And you've been a great friend for years and years. And I just appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here this morning.
Well, wow, Brian, thank you. And I was thinking about it. I think it was November maybe of 2019. It wasn't the first show that I connected with, but that's when you invited me on your program. And that's where I really think I felt like just a conversation just like this. And that means the world to me. That's opened doors. It's not just open doors outside of my life, but it's opened a lot of doors inside my life that sort of have given me a lot more possibility thinking, why not me instead of why me types of things. And so I just wrote a couple of thoughts down about what social media has meant to me besides the platform you have. It's what's so cool to me about it is everybody that's here is looking for it. You don't just stumble on. So there's automatically a common, what am I searching for either to give or what am I searching for that I need in my life? And that's one of the things that I've found out of this. And probably my biggest mentor in my life is my father, who passed when I was 36. But I always draw on things that I remember him saying to me. And this just makes up this whole group. He said to me one time, Bruce, there's 2 times the word get should come before give. One is alphabetically in the dictionary, and the other is when the word up comes after it. Get up before you give up, but always give before you're seeking to get. And that's what this sort of community means to me. I mean, it means possibilities. You want to do something, you may not know how, it doesn't matter. Just get with a group of people like this and the how can figure itself out. Because like you said, those folks are going to come and they're going to come and support you. This platform has just opened the world to me, literally, globally, whether it's, podcasting in Algeria last week with a Muslim female med student. She found me and said, let's do a podcast about possibilities, about success. So we are so similar in the fact that we have so many differences, but when we come together like this, it's almost like we all know each other already. So I'm going to turn this back over to you with one last word, and I'm the word guy. And so I got up this morning. I got
everybody knows Bruce is the word guy, man. If you don't, welcome to the world. Bruce is the world guy. Where have you been hiding?
Well, I do these things called word shops, and I try to help people understand the power of their words. And a couple of guys and gals earlier said, you wake up in the morning and Brian gives you something. Maybe you had a struggling day, or you had something going, but your show's called Morning Perspective, right? And so I just looked at the word perspective today, and this is what it means to me. Perspective, and I just write the word and the letters come together, puts everything real simply, enables creative thinking, improved vision every time. So Brian, that's my word for you today is perspective. I'll post it up here, let you share it out, but it will be on my media page, and you made me think of it, so inspired me. Thank you guys for having me on, Brian. You're such a great brother of mine. I love you.
Love you too, man. Thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you, man. Bill Schomburg, what's happening, brother? Good morning to you, man.
Good morning, Brian. Thank you for the invitation to join this morning.
I just want to say this real quick, man. This is a guy, I followed Bill for a long time on social. Bill and I got to spend just a couple of minutes in Lexington, Kentucky at the Grow Your Business for God's Sake conference. And I want to use this as an example. Have you ever been around a person that, like, when you meet them, there's just an energy about them? You don't need, if all you got's 5 minutes, that's enough for you to understand who somebody is, right? Like, I've known Bill online, but there's an energy about Bill. There's a soul about Bill that is unique, man. And anybody that meets him will say the same thing. He's just a great man with great energy, great love for the Lord that just pours out of him. And man, I love you, man. Thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for being a supporter. And the next time we'll get more than 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes was enough for me to feel everything I needed to feel in your presence, man.
Wow. Thank you. But that's a two-way street. I use the hashtag TWS for that reason. And when you mentioned my faith, I've learned that about how the Lord forms community, whether it's through technology, personal interaction. That two-way street is always in play. And what you ascribe to me in those words, I want to return to you also. Meeting you, listening to you on that panel on stage, Anthony Hart, yourself, Heather Parody. I almost didn't attend that conference. I just returned from traveling outside the country, still jet lagged a little bit. Not proud to admit that, but I'm 65, so hey, it comes with the territory. But that session with you and the others on stage was so powerful. And then to spend those 5 minutes with you, I just wanted to instill the impact that you make, that you made that day, and continue with everything that you do. So honored by your words, thankful to be able to join this morning, and look forward to getting to know everyone in that circle, because the further I go, the smaller the circles get and the more important they become. So I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. And like I say, like others have, I'll bow out here to make room for somebody else, but appreciate and love each what you do, Brian, and all of you this morning.
Yeah, such great words, Bill, and thank you, man. But I want everybody, I want to repeat that because I think it's so important to realize that, as you get inside of a circle of people, that circle that might seem incredibly hard to penetrate from the outside becomes very small, very fast when it's the right one, right? And if you find yourself still having a hard time in the circle, I just want you to pause and think, are you in the right place?
Amen.
Because once you get in, it should be very easy for you to navigate and connect. I said it yesterday on our Top Contractor School Inner Circle call, and I'll say it here to this community. I work hard to connect with people for a reason, right? Because I believe that the value we get out of life is directly connected to the right people that we're connected to. And so this phone book that exists in this phone, it's everybody's phone book. It's not mine, right? It is to be used to connect the right people to the right people. It's not to be used for financial gain or for any other reason other than to take the souls that are within the people that are the right ones and keep meshing them together, man. And that's how we change the world, just one person at a time, adding to that circle. And so I just want to highlight that, Bill, because it's powerful stuff to be able to see how small those circles get when you get inside of them, right? And
one last thing, Brian, I want to just highlight the aspect that you touched on, the idea that people chase money. If you chase the right relationships, money is a byproduct of that, because the relationship is the key, and keep building those great relationships. And I have to credit Bruce Pulver with really enhancing the relationship that he and I had, and get the opportunity to meet you, and just it goes around, two-way street all the time. So thank you. I want to learn more about the plastics piece with the asphalt. There's a reason for that, but the new year will bring that chance for a conversation. But thank you for the opportunity to join and contribute today. Love you all.
Love you too, brother. Thanks for being here, man. And, you know, I just want to say this. There was something said to me a while back about what you chase will run from you. So if you chase money, it will run from you. And if you chase hard work, it will eventually run from you too. And so I've chosen in my life to chase the hard way. I'm going to bring a guy on here that knows a lot about that here in a second. Brad Modrich is a great example. The dude, I took him off the screen because I got tired watching him walk on the damn treadmill. So I was getting tired myself just watching him. So let's bring Brad on and talk to him real quick so I can get him off of the screen and I don't feel bad about myself for not being on the treadmill myself. So Brad, welcome this morning, man.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, brother. How are you?
I want you to talk about one thing, man, because Bill touched on it, but I think you and I have experienced this in a big way this year, and that is, you know, just how small circles get and how powerful those collective groups can be. Brad and I talked, I don't even know what month it was this year, about creating, you know, a men's group. And so Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., we have a group called Warriors for Christ. We have a Zoom call every single week that a bunch of, you know, entrepreneurs and just unbelievable men jump on a call and talk about life, right? And we talk about faith and we talk about everything. But I want you to talk a little bit about, you know, how those groups have made an impact on your life and how social media has changed things for you over the years.
Yeah, man. And first off, Brian, and I'm just going to co-sign what everyone else is saying. And I know you don't need to hear it, but I'm going to say it anyway. You've definitely been a positive force in so many people's lives. And I normally don't speak for most men and women, but I can say with great pride that, you know, you bring a lot of joy and a lot of value to so many people. And we absolutely love you, bro. That's unquestionable. Yeah, you know, the cool thing about our group when Brian and I first kind of got together was, you know, there's a lot of social settings and a lot of social groups that are all about, you know, being a power entrepreneur and, you know, making money in business and go, 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 go. And, you know, there was something heavy on my heart when I called them and I said, you know, I don't want this to be about money. Listen, I don't care how much is in your bank account. I don't care how much revenue you generated last year, but I think there's a deeper level connection that we could make with this group that we've made, for us to be better fathers, to be better husbands, to be better brothers, and to be better leaders. And it truly, we talk about perspective all of the time. It truly changed my perspective on how I operate in those four areas. And when you connect with like-minded individuals, and again, this isn't a business-based business, even though business is, you know, it comes up, it's about really being a better version in one of those four aspects. And I know the relationships that have come from it. It helps me think things through. And if there's a challenge, I know I have like 20 brothers that I could absolutely count on at any time. And that wouldn't have happened if, you know, if Brian and I really didn't get together. And this is the power of the connectivity and the power of the relationships. And then most importantly, we're action takers, right? We didn't just talk about it. We took action on it, right? We made it happen.
Imperfect action, might I add. We didn't have a clue how we were going to do it or what it was going to end up with. And we're like taking up the time of, like, that's the coolest thing about this group is, like, you look around the screen and you're like, dude, there's literally hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue annually in this group of successful entrepreneurs. And like, it's the like most real, nobody cares about that stuff. Like everybody just shows up and shares and talks about what they're struggling with in their life and their relationships, their friendships, their business, their whatever it is, right? I mean, we've heard it all, right, over the last 6 months. And that is, to your point, what makes it real.
Yeah. And it's been consistent, and the consistency along with the authenticity, along with the how people can show they're vulnerable. It's just been amazing. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for social media. You know, Brian and I were in another social group together, and I kept seeing the name. And I was like, screw it. I'm just going to reach out. I heard all about this guy, you know, and I put down my window, and I'm just like, I want to learn about you. And he was like, bro, I've been thinking the same thing about you. And it was just, that's the power of this, when you can find people that align with your core values as who you are and how you operate. And then the big cherry on top was, it's an extremely faith-based group. And where I'm at in my walk, Brian has, without a question, been the guy kind of holding my hand through this. So I appreciate you, brother, man. And when I saw this morning, normally I'm in the gym, you know where I'm at normally right now, and we got a little sickness going on in the house, so I had to come to the home base gym. I saw last perspective. I'm like, what? This is the last time he's doing it? But I didn't realize it was the last from 21. But I'm going to commit to seeing more of these faces in the morning. And I am so excited for 22, brother. And
Likewise,
I'm just so much looking forward to being by your side, bro.
Likewise, man. I love you, bro. You made a huge impact on my life. And I just want to point out, like Brad said, you know, we were in the same group and we had a lot of the same friends, right? But Brad, took the action to reach out and say, he literally said, dude, I'm trying to fill up my cup with, you know, a bunch of new people that I believe will make an impact on my life this year. And so I'm calling you. And I said, well, if you're calling me, bro, I'm going to show up, right? Like if you're going to reach out and you're going to, you know, you're going to take the step, dude, I'll walk it all the way down, right? And so Brad and a bunch of the guys from the group have come to Pittsburgh. We spent a couple of days in person talking about business and faith, you name it, right? We talked about everything. Broke bread together, had incredible Wagyu steak together. You know, this Wagyu is important, you know.
It is, and I can't wait. We're coming in January, so whoever's watching out in social media world, 3 tickets left.
That's it, man. That's it. We got the Top Contractor School retreat. Brad's not even a contractor, buddy, but he's coming to Florida to hang out with a bunch of us contractors and have some fun and break some bread. And so, man, I can't wait to see you, bro. And just thank you for everything you bring to my life. And you're an inspiration, dude. Anybody that's not following Brad, you should be. He will, at a minimum, make you feel guilty about not going to the gym. And there's a whole laundry list of everything else that he will bring to your life that's unbelievable. So I love you, man. Merry Christmas to you and the family. And I will see you in person soon.
I'll see you soon, brother. Thank you.
Steve Flaherty, what's happening, bro? I got to tell this story, man. How Steve and I met. Joy, Dr. Sean, you guys will love this one. 5 a.m. last January, I'm moderating Breakfast for Champions, and I get a guy that pops in and says, hey, dude, I'm in the asphalt business, and I've been waiting to talk to you. And I'm like, get out of here, dude. And then he tells me that he's on his way home from work. And now I'm like, bro, you're talking my language, man. If you can work till 5 a.m. from the day before, you're my kind of dude, right? So Steve and I started talking. You know, we've gotten to know each other extremely well. You know, I have a advisory position with Steve's company, with Nicotech, just trying to help and advise and contribute in any way that I can to move this guy's mission forward. I don't want to, it would take me forever to go through his resume, but the dude started this thing from scratch. He's also a professor at Ohio Wesleyan University. I shared this before, but he's if you guys saw that I got to speak to a college class earlier this year, if things go bad with America's youth, Steve's responsible. But you know, Steve is working with the Department of Defense, NASA, the U.S. Air Force, the I mean, the list goes on and on and on of developing new innovative products for some of the most important people in the world. And man, I'm just proud to call you a friend, and thanks for everything that you brought to my life and all the people you've been able to introduce me to.
Yeah, man, no, appreciate it. I mean, that's the two-way street thing is definitely there. So, I mean, tuning in and hearing a guy talk about asphalt at 5 a.m. when, yeah, I'm there from the night before, wasn't expected, but, just, shows you the power of social media, right? I mean, that was a, new platform, with Clubhouse, listening in, and then, but it's what you do with it, right? And so that's the thing is like, social has a lot of things, and you can go both ways of what it's done for the world, right? But if you use it as a tool, as your gateway, the door to the world, and then take action on it, it just shows you what's happened. I mean, it feels like we've known each other a lot longer than a year, right? Just from being going through and doing everything that's happened in 2021. But it's powerful, right? So, and exponentially increasing your network with each connection, right? Like as you alluded to earlier, that little black box now, that has all the connections to the world, that's open to you, that's open to me, it's open to anybody on here, which is really the amazingness, I guess, of stuff like this and tuning in. And I'm writing down names here of like people that I've seen in the comments and everything that I'm like, all right, like there's a new one, right? New connection. Let's chat, figure out, how we can add value to each other's life. So
yeah, it's incredible, man. I was just looking the other day. I had Joy and Scott in town, and we were looking, and so Scott Simons and I have the same Clubhouse anniversary date, December 26th. And I'm like, that's probably the only day that Scott and I took off. So we, it was the day that we accepted the invite of, from somebody on Clubhouse. But it's incredible, man. That's 3 days from now. And like, when I think about the relationships that have been built, on that platform alone, you being one of them, it's incredible, man. And it comes down to, and I've been preaching this for the last week, and I think it's going to become, something that I just keep talking about in 2022 is like, you said it, write the names down, right? And then go invest time into building a real relationship with these people, because it is so incredibly important for us to have not just connections online, but real relationships, right? And when we spend time and space with people, we shake their hands. Bill Schomburg, I used him as an example, but I mean that. You get in person with somebody and you don't always have, the time to spend hours or days or whatever with everybody, but it doesn't take that, to understand somebody's heart, to understand their energy. And man, I'm grateful you came into my life, man, and I can't wait to see what we do together in the future. And this is just a guy of morals, ethics, values, just delivers on everything that he says. And I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of my life, man.
Yeah, hey, right back at you, man. Appreciate it and excited for what's coming up.
No doubt, man. No doubt. The future is bright. Get your shades. Get your shades. Matt Johnson, what's happening, man? This dude's been on here since like 7:50, so I should get to you. It's been an hour.
Brian, good morning. The connections of social media, as you asked, what's the anchor of that? And it was a year ago today, Ryan Austin and I was sitting in a coffee shop. He walks in the door and comes around the corner and kind of lets out a Matt Johnson. And I'm like, yo, like I hardly knew Ryan Austin at all. But we recorded his podcast that day, and as he's recording and we're interviewing, he's like, "Dude, you gotta meet Brian Hess. You gotta meet Brian Hess. If you listen to Morning Perspective," he just kept going on and on and on and on. And at that point, I'd been a pastor for 23 years, an entrepreneur, have multiple little businesses of my own, and doing some stuff. And Ryan's like, "No, you got to get in the mix of listening to this at least." And Brian, what I will say to you is, hats off as a pastor. Most people want to know you, but they don't want to get close to you. They don't want real depth of relationship, because then there's accountability and there's expectation of your faith. But I just want to thank you for bringing core values that are anchored in biblical principles every morning, man. You bring it. You're not afraid to say it. In my 12 years as the director of communications there in Oxford Community Schools, and a pastor. I had to like walk both of those lines. And just over the year listening to you, you have taken somebody who's pretty bold in their faith, and literally every day your morning perspective aim helps me in my own business too. But then you come back to the reality of it is God-centered, Christ-focused, and you better get your game together and work to the glory of God kind of perspective. So I thank you for that. I thank you for the relationship that you've been willing to have digitally. You and I only live 80 miles apart now, which is pretty crazy. So someday I'm going to have to head east out of Ohio here and come visit you. The closest IKEA now is your home instead of my home back in Michigan.
There you go. We'll come together and have meatballs at IKEA. I mean, that's like,
yeah, there we go. Yeah, my wife keeps talking about things for the house, and I'm like, that's the closest ones to Brian. So you're going to have lunch with Brian if we go that way. But I just want to say thanks for what you've provided as opportunities of those connections, because I have people now that, just like we were saying, they'll see your name, click on your profile, they'll see who you are and what you're about. And I have people on Messenger ask me questions that people would never walk into my pastoral office and ask. And I've definitely have had business opportunities with all my marketing stuff that I do that would have never been possible. And you and I have still never sat in the same room, even though we've talked quite a few times. But just that is the connection to understand God's got an open door. If we're willing to stand at the door, He's willing to take you and push you on through it and let you run and do your thing. So the greatest thing, though, I can say is, Ryan, thanks for pushing me. And Brian, thanks for being consistent in what you're doing for us. And I was kind of like some other people, and I'm like, the last morning perspective. Are you kidding? Oh, I better keep reading. Yeah, shoo, good. I'm going to hop online. So thanks for that. And thanks.
It was not meant to be clickbait, but apparently it was very.
It worked, baby. It worked.
Yeah,
so yeah. So thanks for what you do, and that's really the heart of it. So I'll jump off here.
And likewise, brother. Like we haven't spent time together yet, but I will say this: we closed down the Pavement Group office the week between Christmas and New Year's. So I've made a commitment for 2022 to see as many people that I spend time with virtually in person as possible. So let's pull that forward and let's hook up next week, man. I'll ease 80 miles is like driving to the gas station for a guy in the asphalt business.
Well, my car is literally warming up in the driveway. My wife has loaded it without me because I'm like, I'm hopping on this call, and she's like, I'm leaving you behind. So I'm going to try to have lunch with Ryan this afternoon with him. So you guys have a blessed day and a great Christmas. Thank you, Brian.
Likewise, man. Thanks for being a steady hand in my life, man, and for all that you do to contribute to this community and this show. Thank you so much, man. Merry Christmas.
My pleasure. You. Thanks.
Christopher Filippelli. Let me tell you guys about this cat.
Here we go.
When did I meet you? Were you a senior in high school, or did you officially graduate?
2000. Well, I graduated in 2017. I might have been 1 year out of high school. Probably 18.
1 year out of high school. This dude shows up. He started watching this show. Imagine this. He's a contractor. Started watching this show, and he had a seal coating business doing what, a couple $100,000 a year?
Yeah, I would say roughly 200.
200,000. He doesn't even know, probably, because he probably didn't have an accounting system, I would guess at that point. His accounting system was his truck dashboard, right? Like somewhere like that, with a wad of cash in his pocket. That's how we roll early in our careers in the construction business. And just an incredible thirst for knowledge, and more driven than any young man that I've met in a long, long time. And I've been lucky to meet a couple people that are early in life like that have been that motivated. And every single one of them has ended up in the same situation because they use what's available to them to grow. They leverage it for the right reasons to grow their businesses. And dude, I just want to say, and I've had Chris on this show before and interviewed him to tell his story because it's so remarkable. But he's doing, I don't want to share his personal business, but multiple millions of dollars in business. Went against my advice 2 years ago and bought an asphalt paver and some trucks. I said, dude, I don't know about that. I wouldn't do that. But, he's got more courage than he's got ears listening to me. And thank goodness he did, because he's crushing it. Went against the advice, went and got the resources, put them in place, and he's just absolutely crushing it. Chris is on the coast of Maryland down there in Salisbury, Maryland. He's engaged, getting married this year, has been to every single event we've ever had. Has been a member of Top Contractor School since the very beginning. You know how I feel about you, bro, but I love you, man. And has been a huge fan and supporter of this show. And so thank you for everything, man. And I couldn't be more proud to be able to call you a friend and to be associated with you.
No, I appreciate it. And it's the same both ways. And I'll tell you, you talk about social media, and what's really interesting about I met you through the show, but it even goes farther back than that, because I remember, I'll never forget it. It was my second or third year into seal coating, and I could take you right to the driveway I was sitting at, and we'd finished sealing the driveway. And I got back in my truck, and I decided that I wanted to get into paving. And I had been watching this company, ADC, out of Kentucky for a long time. And this was before I ever even knew what Kevin's name was. And it's still in my Instagram messages till this day. I went back and I sent him a message on Instagram and said, here's what I want to do. I'd like to talk to you at some point. And Kevin actually called me on the phone, and I ended up having a conversation with him. And a week later, I landed in Louisville, Kentucky, and stayed down there for a week. And that was actually Kevin Gray, when I was down in Kentucky, is the one that turned me on to Morning Perspective, which is how I ended up meeting Brian. So it's just funny. Hey, Lori, how are you? I have to get up there soon and see you guys. So it's just funny how the social media world just turns over, and how that relationship turned to this relationship to learn. But when I first started watching this show, I didn't know who Brian Hess was. And so it's really just interesting how the world goes around. But, if it wasn't for you, Brian, and for Kevin and everybody in the TCS group, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. So it's, it's definitely, when you look back on it, it's an emotional ride to see how everybody came together and what they did for me. But from, my parents to Brooke to everybody in my life, it's been a dream come true.
Yeah, you deserve it, bro. And, I love when people achieve success and wear it well, and you are one of those people. This dude's still to this day one of the cheapest human beings you meet on the planet. He watches every dollar. And, I shouldn't say that. He's cheap in some areas, and that he's very, he'll spend whatever it takes to get it done in other areas. But I just love that about you, man. The dynamic of this dude is unbelievable. And trust me, that's a long name, Christopher Filippelli, but write it down and remember it, because that dude he'll be doing unbelievable things for the next 100 years, because he's still like 10. So,
come on, you can't say that. I'm about to be 23. My birthday's on the 30th. So.
23. I just want to just highlight that real quick. 23 years old, doing millions and millions of dollars in business. Started from scratch. Started with what, pails out of the back of a pickup truck?
Yep. But big, I have to say, big props to my parents and huge props to my dad. So I definitely can't leave it out.
Yeah. Well, I love you, man. Merry Christmas to you. I can't wait to continue to be on this journey together, and to be there for your wedding and watch you take the next step in life. Just super proud to know you. And thanks for everything that you do for me, my family. This dude sends me gift cards to take my kids to get milkshakes. I mean, you name it. He's just got a heart of gold and the most thoughtful person that you could ever imagine. So thank you for being you, dude. And thanks for shining a light in the world on a regular basis.
I appreciate it, man. Let's get together soon.
You got it, brother.
All right.
Mr. John Rugg. What's happening, bro? Oh, you're muted, John. You got to figure out. Let me see if I can. There you go.
Hear me
You're
now?
good.
Good.
Yeah.
Brian, I want to thank you, and being a part of this community has been fantastic. I joined a year ago. One of the things I can say, you go to these different trade shows, you meet a lot of people, speakers. They have, they all have this talk, and but they don't walk their talk. And, through social media, I followed you and said, this guy's real. He does what he says he does. Finding also a man of faith, that was important. And I'm so glad that we've last year hooked up, and about this time, I guess, last year.
Yes, sir.
And, I greatly appreciate it. And, to think I'm speaking here on social media this morning a year ago, I would tell you you're crazy. But you helped me break that shell and many other shells, and we're making changes here as we speak today. We're doing things that we wouldn't be doing, and Appreciate everything. And I'd like to also put a shout out to Lori. You know, it's special when you have somebody at home that lets you go out and do what you do, because I got a wife that does the same thing for me. So thanks, Lori. You know, it takes a lot of sacrifice at home as well.
Yeah.
And I'm a little older than you, Brian, but we had 3 boys, and you know, I kind of, you know, I had Shannon was my Lori, and you know, help with the kids and give me that peace and serenity. And but again, thank you for everything you do. Thank you, everybody in the Inner Circle group. Man, I tell you, it's phenomenal to think you can make a phone call and you got somebody giving you great advice and direction, and it's been a great place, and I'm really looking forward to 2022.
It's based in the right values and principles, and that means a lot, right? And
Yep.
you know, it's to know that, you know, I met John through this channel, right? John lives 2 hours from me. His shop is literally, so here's some perspective for you. John and I grew up in very small towns about 10 minutes apart. Imagine that, right? John and I went to college literally almost at the end of the gate is John's office. It's that close to where I went to college, and that was 2 hours from my house. And then John and I became friends, and man, it's just been an absolutely incredible ride with you, dude. And from the day that I met John, I said, man, this guy is special, man. He's something different. And you know, getting to know your family, being able to go to dinner with you and your wife and Lori and I, it's incredible, man. And it is the example of what happens when you take online relationships seriously and you pour into them, right? And I love you, man. Thanks for being, again, a steady hand and a light in our group, in my world, in my family, everywhere. It's incredible. And to watch this guy do his first Facebook Live last July, he said, I don't know what to talk about. What if I said, John, you're a great dude. Speak from your heart about what matters to you. He did a Facebook Live on what his employees meant to him. And the next thing you know, he's got people calling and reaching out and commenting, wanting to work for his company. And so if you're a great person, all you have to do is show that you're a great person. One of the things I say in the Inner Circle all the time is you could be the greatest guy, greatest girl in the world. If the only people that know are your family and your neighbor and the people that work with you, it's not going to have the same impact. So get out there, get uncomfortable, and make it happen. And John, you're a great gleaming example of what happens when you do that, man. So thank you for everything. Merry Christmas to you and the family. And I love you, man. I'll see you soon.
You too. Merry Christmas.
See you soon in the sunshine, brother.
Yes, sir.
You got it, man. Monica, good morning.
Good morning. My goodness, what a amazing conversation you're having with so many fun people this morning.
I know, right? I didn't expect it to go for an hour, but what the heck, man? We might as well keep rolling. I got a clear schedule today, so.
Right, it's Christmas. Hi, Joy Farley. So good to see your beautiful face. Hi, Brett Sutherland. I don't know you, but good to see your face too.
You don't know him, but you should. I'll introduce you guys in a minute.
I should know him. Brian, I have to tell you, gosh, this year has been like crazy. Like, I feel like my brain is pushing on my skull because it's growing so much. Like, it's amazing between Clubhouse and the Grow for God conference and all the just immersion that I've been doing to get around people like you has been such a blessing. So many just learnings and opportunities to grow and expand. And it's obvious with all the folks that were coming on here today and talking to you that you, how do I say it? You attract quality human beings. I think that's so telling about the person that you are, you know, like attracts like. And I'm just really grateful to have gotten to know you a little bit and am, you know, kind of in that process of having you and people like you in my world. And I just want to share that with you.
Thank you so much. And likewise, it's been amazing to, you know, be surrounded by people like yourself. And, you know, there's an energy about people, you know. Anybody that doesn't believe that, I can't relate to you, so you probably shouldn't hang out with me. And when you realize that energy and just how powerful that energy is, it's life changing, you know. And when you get around those people, and you said it, it's one of the things that I've realized. I like to say a lot of the success that I've had is by taking action, and something happens as a result of that. It's not always intentional, is my point, right? You're doing something and then something happens. And I've realized that just by, you know, being myself and sharing my story and sharing who I am, that it does attract the right people. And it also detracts the wrong people in a lot of cases, right? You know, the people that aren't positive, that aren't looking to do certain things, that aren't, you know, they're not that motivated. Well, they don't want to be. Anybody that's not motivated doesn't want to hang out with me or Brett or anybody else that I know, because we'll be annoying as shit to them. Like, you know, they won't be able to stand being in our space because they will feel inadequate. And so it is about being yourself. And when you put that message out there to the masses, it's incredible what happens, right? Who you attract, and you are one of those people. And so it was great to be able to spend time with you in Lexington. I look forward to getting to know you a lot better over the coming years. And just thank you for being here this morning, and for hanging out with us, and for sharing, and for always pouring into others, and being present, and being a light in the world.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I received that graciously. I love you, man.
Love you too. Joy Farley. Do you know how to use the mute button? You're a
like, how do I unmute myself? Good morning, friend. And so good to see you too, Monica. Oh, I can't believe the past year. I mean, we sit here almost a year removed, and I cannot believe just the connections, the friendships, the mind-blowing growth, like Monica mentioned. And I sit here being like, how in the world can all of us from all over the world at this point find these heart connections, because we're so aligned? And like you said, you don't want to hang out with us if you're not motivated, you're not inspired. And it's funny, Brian texted me. I was like, you know what? I'm on vacation now. I'm going to sleep in. And I roll over and look at my phone. It's like 7:48. And Brian's like, hey, can you hop on live? And at 8 o'clock. I was like, only for you, Brian. Can I get ready in like less than 10 minutes? So great to be here. Great to be in your airspace this past weekend. I had the opportunity to meet up with Brian and our mutual friends, Scott Simons, in Pittsburgh for the Steelers-Titans game this weekend. And we've been talking about that for how long, Brian?
Oh, 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
Like spring, summer time. Like, hey, the Steelers are coming, or the Titans are coming to Pittsburgh. We've got to link up. And when I think about the conversations that we've had over the past year, just sometimes just like driving home from work being like, hey, friend, what's up? Or, you know, he's driving home, he gets home, and he's like, hey, the kids want to say hi. And just be able to hug your babies this weekend was just awesome. And I just feel like I've known you my whole life. Someone told me years ago that big people make you feel bigger. And I think I've shared that multiple times with multiple people. And it's like, I'm not a small person in stature in any other way, but you really have made me feel even bigger this year, of just the growth from a business perspective, from just life. And I love that that's what your show is all about, morning perspectives. And you've given me so much more to dream about, more to think about. Always, our conversations are always full of fun and laughter, and just you can kind of take the work hat off and be like, Brian's crushing it in business, but he's also so present in his real life as well. And it's always just so evident. So thank you for collecting me as one of your friends this year. I can't wait to see all the things that we're going to do in the future. And Brett, I hear amazing things about you too. So we'll definitely have to connect soon.
100%.
Yeah, you'll definitely love getting to know Joy Farley, Brett. Joy, you have brought so much joy. I'm sure you get tired of hearing those two words put together, but you are the definition of your name. You know, from the day anybody hears your voice, they 100% understand who you are. And then as you get to know you personally, it just solidifies that more and more and more. and is a reminder of, man, if you need any light in your life, all you have to do is be connected to Joy Farley and get that phone number and text it or call it or whatever.
Call me.
and I promise your day will get better. You know, Joy came here for the game. Her brother plays for the Titans. She didn't get to see her brother. There was a bunch of people coming. Then there was barely people coming. Scott Simons spent 16 hours on flights to try to get here. He almost didn't make it. And we never missed a beat, right? It was like, listen, whoever shows up, we're going to have fun. We're going to have a blast. And that is the first of many, 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 many times that we get to spend time together, and definitely getting to see you with our kids and seeing how much they love you. Brett, you'll love this. Kingston hits up Joy as she's walking out the door and says, Joy, could you put your phone number in my iPad so I can text you?
I can text you sometime. I said, I love
said, the
Clover."
boy's a closer. The boy's a closer. So thank you for being here. I love you, friend.
Absolutely. Love you
Merry
back.
Christmas to you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Only fitting that you're the last one, man.
Well, I
Only
figured I should
fitting.
jump on because you were talking about social media developing into relationships and expanding. So here I am.
The definition in my life of what social media and connections can do is this guy right here. You know, if I think back 2 years ago, it wasn't even 2 years ago that I met Brett, January of 2020. And, you know, that happened as a result of another relationship that I, again, established on social media, took offline, and Brett and I ended up speaking at the same event. Just hit it off, man. You know, when you find somebody that has the kind of drive that this guy has, and you have the same kind of, you know, mentality to you, it's rare, right? And so when you find it, you connect with those people, and magical things happen. And so, you know, Brett started a business called Lead Revenue. I ended up, you know, hooking up with that business, becoming a board member, becoming a partner in the company. And it has been, you know, the thing that I will say about you, man, is that you have opened my mind to more things and allowed me to step into, I believe, a better version of myself in every aspect of my life. And so, you know, it makes me emotional to think about it, to be honest, the way that you've changed my life and had an impact on me. And we are literally just getting started. And man, just thank you for everything that you've done for me, for my family. And to think that it all started from a digital connection is hard to believe. And then to think about, I mean, of all the people that are on this show, you probably knew most of them, right, this morning. And so when you think about not just the one-to-one connection, but the one-to-many connection that happens as a result of just showing up, being yourself, and being open to these types of connections online. So I love you, man. Thanks for everything. I mean,
You've opened my eyes to what's possible with social and developing relationships and building. I mean, you know, obviously super happy to have you as a board member of Fusion Zone, Lead Revenue, Primus Companies that, I mean, the growth that we've just started into now is just unreal. We were, you know, and I think it wouldn't have been possible without you. It's just funny how these things connect, right? We never in a million years would have thought contracting, the contractor space would have had the chops that it does. And, you know, just being able to see the difference we're making and helping generate revenue and seeing the success stories and being involved in your network has been, you know, priceless. I mean, that's really how we've grown this in a lot of ways. And yeah, super grateful for you and the lessons I've learned.
Yeah, it's incredible. So this is a guy who, you know, has built a massive digital marketing company, started in 2008, right? 2008, built a massive digital marketing company in automotive, exited that to private equity in 2017, and is now, you know, experiencing on a daily basis, right? Like this dude sends me his statistics on LinkedIn and they're like mind blowing, right? He's like, is this good? I'm like, hell yeah, man. That's incredible. Like, you know, the momentum that's been built as a result of these connections. And it is a testament, man, because, you know, you filled just massive open spaces in my life. And, I hope that I have returned the favor in some ways as well. And that is what it's all about, man. It's about finding those people with like minds, like hearts, like motivations. And you really can change the world. I mean, when I think about what we've been able to do with lead revenue, to your point, with contractors, I think about the end result of that. How many families' Christmases are better this year as a result of the digital marketing performance that we've been able to increase for people and the number of leads we've been able to generate. And that is what it's all about, right? And all of that is possible as a result of these connections. And so just thank you, man, for everything.
Yeah,
and,
look forward to seeing you in January.
And this is the only guy that I know that, whether he's on the West Coast, now he's in Mountain Time, shows up for Morning Perspective at whether it's 4:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. I didn't text him this morning because I'm like, dude, hopefully he's sleeping in. But as you see, he's not sleeping in. He never does, no matter how much success or how much momentum he has. Brett, we always joke. We say we are not the guys you want to go sit with on the beach, but definitely guys you want to be able to, you want to run with in business. We're not too good at sitting still. We proved that, right? We'd
Last
rather.
time we were at the beach, we had a guy coming in for an interview that sat in the sand on the chairs with us.
That was it. When we sit on the beach, we interview people. That's how it works,
That's
right?
right.
So we're still doing business. But thank you, man, again for everything. And what a fitting way to finish off this podcast. This guy has had such a massive impact on my life, and it is the example of a connection that starts online. You nurture it offline. I've been to Brett's house in Park City several times, been out to California, been lots and lots of places in the 2 years that we've known each other. And rest assured, we're just getting started. You'll see these two names together for a long, long time to come, doing big things and helping a lot of people. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Brett. Thank you to everybody that came on here, man. I can't even imagine how many people came through here this morning, but what a way to finish 2021. What a way to go out for this podcast for the last episode of the year. I think it's 430 something episodes at this point, and it has been an incredible ride. I get these memories in my Facebook timeline of all the different episodes that have happened over the years. And when I think about how it started and how it's going, you see those pictures all the time, but it makes me emotional to think about the number of relationships and how my life has changed, and the inspiration and the love and the compassion and the, if I'm sick, I've got, 50 people messaging me, seeing if I'm okay, or if they can bring something to my house or send something to me, or, just give me prayers, whatever it may be. And it means the world to me. And I say it a lot on the show, but it means everything to me. It's the greatest way that I get to start my day, is to, jump on here and talk into a camera and see people on the other end of their devices commenting and sharing and liking. And, it's incredible. And it continues to grow, and it continues to impact more people. And that is what it's all about. And so thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for everything. Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year to you, because I will not see you on this show until after New Year's. I love all of you from the bottom of my heart with everything I got. I love you guys. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for becoming friends with each other. And thank you for everything that you do for me and for my family. So until 2022, I am signing off. Last episode of Morning Perspective for 2021. I love you guys, and I'll see you in 2022. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines